They told us it was just a negotiation tactic. They told us the Bears were just bluffing to get a better deal in Arlington Heights or Chicago. But when you start seeing heavy machinery and survey crews on the ground in Indiana right before a massive game against the Packers, you have to wake up and realize this might actually be happening. We have a playoff team, a culture change, and now a potential state change that is shaking this fanbase to its core. If you want to stay on top of every single breaking update regarding the stadium, the playoffs, and this incredible roster, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to the channel right now so you don't miss a beat. Let's get real for a second. Is this move to Indiana actually legitimate? For the longest time, we brushed it off. We thought, there is no way the Chicago Bears become the Indiana Bears. But the report coming out of the Northwest Indiana Times is impossible to ignore. We aren't talking about a phone call or a meeting. We are talking about trucks, crews, and specialized equipment out near Wolf Lake, scouting the area. They were flagging gas lines and water lines. You do not spend that kind of money, you do not deploy those kinds of resources, and you do not hire crews to mark utility lines if you are just trying to scare the politicians in Illinois. That is expensive work. That is the kind of work you do when you are ready to pour concrete. It is honestly shocking. We know this organization has been tight with the checkbook in the past, so for them to greenlight a survey operation of this magnitude tells me they are frustrated. The stalemate in Arlington Heights is real, and the city of Hammond and Gary are looking more attractive by the day. They did this back in the early 2000s as leverage, sure, but this feels different. This feels like they are taking the next physical step. Imagine driving across the state line to watch home games. The transportation issues, the logistics, the identity of the team, it's all up in the air. And while the front office is playing chess with real estate, the product on the field has completely transformed. We have to give flowers where flowers are due. Coach Ben Johnson has come in here and completely rewired the DNA of this franchise. We are sitting at 11-4. Let me repeat that. 11-4. The confidence in that locker room is something we haven't seen in decades. This isn't just about winning games, it's about a mentality. Coach Johnson said it himself, the goal wasn't just to make the tournament. That was step one. The goal is the division. The goal is the number 1 seed. The goal is the Super Bowl. He is bringing that killer instinct that we have been starving for. You look at how he handled the victory over Green Bay. He watched from his office. He was already prepping for the 49ers. He's grinding while the city is celebrating because he knows the job isn't done. He calls it a gift to play in the NFL, and he is making sure every guy on that roster knows that moments like this, seasons like this, do not happen by accident. He built this staff handpicked. Bringing in guys like Eric Bieniemy, Dennis Allen, Antoine Randall, it wasn't forced on him. He curated a championship-level think tank, and the results speak for themselves. And look at what it's done for Caleb Williams. The growth is undeniable. He is playing with a swagger that is bordering on arrogance in the best possible way. He's on pace to shatter single-season passing records. He is craving the big moments. When the lights are brightest, Caleb is getting better, and that is a direct reflection of the belief this coaching staff has instilled in him. But before we keep breaking down this playoff push, I have to ask you the big question, and I need you to sound off in the comments section right now. Question of the day: if the decision was yours and money was no object, where do you want this stadium to be? Do you want them to stay in the city of Chicago? Do you want the massive complex in Arlington Heights? Or are you actually open to the idea of Northwest Indiana if it means a better facility? Let me know below. Now, let's talk about the recognition this team is finally getting. The Pro Bowl voting is out, and the fans showed up. 10 players. 10 Chicago Bears won the fan voting at their positions. We are talking about dominance across the board. Drew Dowman, Darnell Wright, Kevin Byard, Joe Thuney, DeAndre Swift, Jalen Johnson, the list goes on. It validates what we have been seeing with our own eyes. This is one of the most talented rosters in football. But here is the reality check. Fan voting is only 1/3 of the equation. We need to see if the players and coaches around the league give these guys the respect they deserve, but having 10 guys top the list is a massive statement from this fanbase. However, it is not all sunshine and rainbows. We have to talk about the health of this team because the playoffs are brutal, and we are limping a little bit. The update on Kyler Gordon is a roller coaster. Coach Johnson threw his name out there unprompted, saying they hope to have him back for the playoffs. That is huge. He's been dealing with the hamstring, then the calf, then the groin. It has been a nightmare season for him physically. But if you can get him back on the field, even in a limited role, you do it. He is a playmaker. Then you have this C.J. Gardner-Johnson situation. It was silence from the media, which is bizarre. No one asked the hard questions, or maybe they were told not to. But the word on the street, and from sources I trust, is that the ACL is intact. That is the bullet we dodged. But is it a sprain? Is it a bone bruise? We don't know. If we can get one or both of those guys back for the postseason, the ceiling of this defense changes completely. Because let's be honest, the drop-off to the backups is steep. We need our dogs healthy. Speaking of dogs, we need to have a serious conversation about Montez Sweat. Coach Johnson praised him, saying he's playing the best ball of his career since the bye week, and the stats back it up. 9.5 sacks, forcing fumbles, being a disruptor. He has 8.5 sacks in his last 9 games. That is elite production. But I am going to be greedy because I know how good he can be. We need him to be a game wrecker every single snap in the playoffs. He is getting double-teamed, I get it. But great players find a way home. If we want to make a deep run, Montez Sweat can't just be good, he has to be unblockable. And finally, we have to address the controversy with Austin Booker. The hit on Jordan Love. Everyone is screaming that it was dirty, that he was headhunting. Let's look at the physics. Love ducked. Booker was aiming for the chest, the quarterback drops his level, and the collision happens. It is a penalty by the letter of the law, sure. Ben Johnson admitted it's a penalty. But was it malicious? I don't see it. The kid is playing hard. He had 2 sacks in that game that got wiped out by penalties, one for the hit, one for landing with his body weight. It is frustrating because you want him to be aggressive, but the league makes it so hard to play defense these days. The good news? Booker is flashing. He is getting to the quarterback. If he can clean up the technique just a fraction, he is going to be a nightmare for offensive lines in the postseason. We have the division in our sights. We have the number 1 seed within reach. The stadium rumors are heating up, the roster is getting healthy, and the culture is set. This is the most exciting time to be a fan of this team in a long, long time. We aren't just hoping anymore, we are expecting greatness. Let me know your thoughts on the stadium and the injuries. Can we survive without CJGJ? Is the Indiana move a bluff? I read every single comment. As always, thank you for tuning in, and bear down.